There is a symbol you've seen everywhere, a triangle with an eye, present on money, temples, and in secret societies. But what if this symbol isn't about control but an invitation to awaken a deeper vision within yourself? Today on Nova Frequency, we'll decode the eye in the triangle, not as a tool of oppression, but as a key to your own awakening. Let's move past fear and conspiracy, and reclaim the symbol's true power as a catalyst for inner transformation. The eye in the triangle is a mirror. See fear, and it reflects control. See potential, and it reveals your higher consciousness. This symbol is a beacon, guiding you to unite body, mind, and spirit, and to live with clarity and purpose. Our journey starts in ancient Egypt, exploring the eyes of Horus and Ra, symbols of intuition and action, moon and sun. We'll trace the triangle's meaning through history and connect it to your own third eye, awakening a truth long encoded in your soul. In Egypt, the eye symbolized a sacred duality, inner and outer vision, intuition and action, moon and sun. To awaken, we must balance both forms of sight, just as the ancients did, preparing our own inner vision for clarity. The eye of Horus, linked to the moon, represents intuition, dreams, and the healing of inner vision after trauma. Its myth teaches us that even shattered intuition can be restored, leading to greater wisdom and wholeness. Now, let us shift our focus to the other side of this divine polarity, the right eye, the formidable eye of Ra. If the eye of Horus is the moon, the eye of Ra is the sun itself, direct, brilliant, and overwhelmingly powerful. This eye is associated with the supreme solar deity, Ra, the creator god who sails across the sky each day, bringing light and life to the world. The energy of this eye is not receptive, it is projective. It is the force of divine will made manifest, the power of consciousness to shape and command the external world. It is the eye of the king, the warrior, the architect of reality. Where the left eye feels, the right eye acts. The eye of Ra symbolizes authority, power, and the execution of cosmic law known as Ma'at, the principle of truth, balance, and order. In the myths, Ra would send his eye out into the world to enact his will, to seek out injustice, and to burn away chaos with its fiery gaze. It was a guardian energy, a fierce protector that ensured the divine order was maintained. This eye represents our own conscious mind, our capacity for rational thought, logical analysis, and focused intention. It is the power we use to set goals, to make plans, and to bring our ideas into physical form. The eye of Ra is the flame of pure awareness that illuminates the outer world, allowing us to see things as they are, without distortion or illusion. It cuts through deception with the sharp edge of truth. This is the energy of clarity, of seeing a situation for what it is and knowing exactly what action to take. It is the unwavering focus that allows a leader to guide their people or an artist to complete their masterpiece. It is the masculine principle of doing, of building, of moving forward with purpose and conviction. It is the eternal, unyielding fire of consciousness that never sleeps and never falters. However, this immense power also carries a potential for danger. Unbalanced, the solar energy of the eye of Ra can become tyrannical, domineering, and destructive. It can be the gaze of judgment that lacks compassion, the will to power that crushes everything in its path. Without the balancing influence of the lunar, intuitive eye of Horus, the eye of Ra can become a force of pure, cold logic, disconnected from the wisdom of the heart. The Egyptians understood this peril, recognizing that true power came not from one eye alone, but from the sacred marriage of both. One without the other leads to imbalance and ultimately, to ruin. The mythological battle between Horus and his uncle Set is one of the most important stories in all of Egyptian lore, and at its heart it is a story about consciousness itself. It is, a cosmic drama that plays out within every human soul. Horus, the divine heir, represents the forces of order, light, and legitimate power, the awakened self. Set, his uncle, is the embodiment of chaos, darkness, and the untamed forces of the ego. Set murdered his own brother Osiris, the father of Horus, and usurped the throne, plunging the world into a state of imbalance. The struggle between Horus and Set is the eternal struggle to restore that balance. This is not a simple tale of good versus evil. Set is not purely evil, he represents a necessary force in the universe. He is the energy of chaos that breaks down old structures to allow for new growth. He is the raw, untamed passion, the ambition, and the individualism that can drive us forward. However, when this energy is unchecked, when it is driven by greed and a lust for power, it becomes destructive. Set's usurpation of the throne symbolizes the ego taking control of the psyche, casting out the rightful ruler, the higher divine self represented by Horus. The battle that ensues is the inner work we must all undertake to reclaim our own inner kingdom. The most famous moment of their conflict, as we have touched upon, is when Set tears out Horus's left lunar eye. This act is profoundly symbolic. Set, the force of brute strength and raw ego, attacks Horus's connection to the inner world. His intuition, his subtle perception, his ability to see beyond the veil. The ego always fears what it cannot control, and it cannot control the fluid, mysterious world of the subconscious. By blinding Horus's inner eye, Set attempts to trap him in a purely physical, external reality, the only realm where Set's brand of power can truly dominate. This is a metaphor for how our own egoic minds often ridicule or suppress our intuition. This battle for perception is the core of the spiritual journey. Every day, a similar conflict takes place within you. Your logical, ego-driven mind or Set may demand proof, certainty, and control, while your intuitive heart, or Horus, speaks in whispers, feelings, and synchronicities. The journey of awakening involves learning to champion the cause of Horus, to fight for the legitimacy of your inner sight, and to stand firm against the tyrannical demands of the unchecked ego. It is about understanding that true power does not come from dominating the external world, but from achieving a sacred balance between the inner and outer realms of your being. The resolution of this cosmic conflict comes not through more violence but through the intervention of a third force, wisdom. It is Thoth, the ibis-headed god of knowledge, writing and magic, who steps in to heal Horus's wounded eye. Thoth represents the higher mind, the divine intelligence that transcends the duality of the conflict. He does not take a side in the battle between order and chaos. Instead, he provides the means for their integration. He painstakingly gathers the 6 broken pieces of the lunar eye and, using his magic, makes it whole again. This act is the key to understanding how we achieve spiritual vision. The restored eye, the Ujjat, becomes a powerful symbol of healing, protection, and wholeness. It is not the same as it was before the injury. It is now an eye that has known brokenness and has been made complete through divine wisdom. This symbolizes a crucial aspect of our own awakening. Our spiritual sight is not something we are simply born with in its perfect form. It is something that is forged and strengthened through our trials. Our wounds, when healed with conscious awareness and wisdom, become the very source of our greatest power. The healed eye can see more deeply because it understands both light and shadow. The 6 pieces of the eye were also ingeniously used by the Egyptians to represent a system of fractions, with each part corresponding to one of the senses: touch, taste, hearing, thought, sight, and smell. When added together, the fractions total 63/64ths, not a perfect one. The missing 1/64th was said to be supplied by Thoth's magic. This beautifully illustrates that pure logic and sensory perception alone are not enough to grasp the whole of reality. There is always a missing piece that can only be supplied by magic, by intuition, by the divine spark of consciousness itself. Wholeness requires a leap of faith beyond the measurable world. Ultimately, the healing of the eye allows Horus to finally defeat Set and reclaim his rightful throne. This signifies that it is only when our inner vision is restored and integrated that we can truly master the ego and bring our lives into alignment with divine order, or Ma'at. The 2 eyes, the intuitive eye of Horus and the active eye of Ra, can now work in harmony. This is the esoteric foundation of the all-seeing eye. It is not just one eye, but the synthesis of 2. It is the birth of a unified consciousness, a state of wholeness where we can see the inner world with clarity and act in the outer world with wisdom. Now that we have explored the ancient dualistic nature of the eye, we must turn our attention to the sacred vessel that contains it, the triangle. This is not merely a geometric border or a decorative frame. The triangle itself is a symbol of immense power and profound philosophical weight, a foundational element in the language of the universe. In the realm of sacred geometry, the triangle is revered as the first and most perfect shape to emerge from the void. It is the simplest stable structure, the cornerstone of divine design, a symbol of pure, unshakable form. From the microscopic lattice of crystals to the grand architecture of the cosmos, the principle of the triangle brings stability out of chaos. Think of it, 2 points can be connected by a line, a simple duality. But it is the introduction of a third point that creates the first enclosed plane, the first shape that can contain space. This leap from 2 to 3 is a quantum jump in creation. The number 3 is deeply woven into the fabric of reality and spiritual thought, representing completion, manifestation, and harmony. We see it everywhere, in the cycles of birth, life, and death, in the passage of time as past, present, and future, in the divine trinities that appear in countless religions and mythologies across the globe. The triangle is the visual representation of this universal law of three, the formula through which potential becomes reality. This shape is inherently stable, both physically and energetically. On a physical level, it is the strongest structure known to engineering, which is why it forms the basis of trusses and supports that hold up our bridges and buildings. On an energetic level, this stability translates to a sense of balance and groundedness. The triangle provides a foundation, a sacred container in which volatile energies can be held, harmonized, and integrated. When the all-seeing eye is placed within this structure, it is not being imprisoned, it is being focused, stabilized, and given a coherent framework through which its infinite vision can be channeled into a meaningful form. The triangle provides the structure needed for consciousness to build. Therefore, when we see the eye in the triangle, we are not just looking at two separate symbols placed together. We are witnessing a powerful statement about the nature of reality itself. We are seeing a representation of infinite, formless consciousness, the eye, being given perfect, stable form, the triangle. It is a symbol of divine intelligence manifesting in a structured, ordered, and comprehensible way. The triangle is the blueprint, the sacred architecture that allows the formless to become form, the unknown to become known, and the infinite potential of the universe to be expressed in a balanced and harmonious way. It is honestly the first word in the geometric language of God. At its most personal and profound level, the triangle speaks directly to the structure of your own being. It represents the sacred trinity that constitutes the complete human experience, your body, your mind, and your spirit. These are the three essential aspects of you, the 3 points that, when connected and brought into harmony, create a stable and whole existence. The symbol is a constant, silent reminder that you are not just a body that thinks, nor are you just a spirit trapped in flesh. You are a perfect, triangular union of all three, and your journey is to bring them into conscious, balanced alignment with one another. Each point of the triangle is vital. If one is neglected, the entire structure becomes unstable. Let's look at each point. The first point is the body, your physical vessel, your connection to the earth. This is your foundation. It is the anchor for your consciousness in this material reality. It is through your body that you experience sensation, emotion, and the tangible world. To honor this point is to care for your health, to listen to your body's wisdom, and to ground yourself in the present moment. The second point is the mind, your instrument of thought, logic, and identity. It is the faculty that analyzes, plans, and creates meaning. To honor this point is to cultivate clarity, to question your beliefs, and to use your intellect as a tool for understanding, not as a master that controls you. The third point, the apex, is the spirit, your eternal essence, your connection to the divine, your higher self. This is the part of you that is timeless, formless, and unconditionally loving. It is the source of your intuition, your creativity, and your sense of purpose. It is the silent observer behind the thoughts of the mind and the sensations of the body. To honor this point is to engage in practices that connect you to this deeper reality through meditation, prayer, art, or time in nature. It is the recognition that you are fundamentally a spiritual being having a human experience, not the other way around. The goal of the spiritual path, as symbolized by the triangle, is to bring these 3 points into a state of perfect harmony. When your body, mind, and spirit are aligned, you experience a state of wholeness and integrity. Your actions, body, become aligned with your thoughts, mind, and both are guided by your inner wisdom, spirit. There is no inner conflict, no fragmentation. You become a stable, unshakable structure, a coherent field of energy. The eye in the triangle in this context represents the unified consciousness that emerges when this inner trinity is fully awakened and working as one. It is the site of the complete self. When the two-dimensional triangle extends into the third dimension, it becomes one of humanity's most powerful and enduring architectural symbols, the pyramid. The pyramid is not just a tomb or a monument, it is a profound metaphor for the evolution of consciousness, a stone map charting the journey from earthly existence to divine illumination. Its very shape is a lesson in spiritual ascension. The wide, square base is planted firmly on the ground, representing our foundation in the material world. This base is our physical life, our instincts, our connection to the earth, and the collective consciousness of humanity. It is the starting point of our journey, the realm of density and form. From this broad foundation, the four triangular faces begin to rise, sloping inward and upward. This upward movement symbolizes the spiritual path itself, the conscious effort to transcend our lower nature and rise toward a higher state of being. Each face can be seen as representing a different path or aspect of growth, such as knowledge, love, self-discipline, and service. As we climb the pyramid, we are moving away from the complexity and multiplicity of the base and toward simplicity and unity. We are shedding the layers of the ego, releasing limiting beliefs, and refining our energy from dense to subtle. The climb is the work of self-realization, the alchemical process of turning the lead of our base nature into the gold of our higher self. The climb requires effort, intention, and perseverance. It is a journey against the gravitational pull of our old patterns and conditioning. But as we ascend, our perspective changes. From the base we can only see what is directly in front of us. As we climb higher, our view expands. We begin to see the bigger picture, the interconnectedness of all things, and the patterns that were invisible from the ground. This represents the expansion of our awareness, the development of a more holistic and enlightened perspective on life. The higher we go, the more we see, and the less we are attached to the dramas playing out on the ground below. Finally, all four faces converge at a single perfect point at the summit, the apex or capstone. This single point represents the ultimate goal of the spiritual journey: union with the divine, enlightenment, or connection to source. It is the point of singularity where all duality merges, where the individual self dissolves into the universal self. It is the moment of pure, unified awareness. The pyramid is therefore a dynamic symbol of movement, a stairway to the stars built right here on Earth. It teaches us that our earthly foundation is not something to be escaped, but the very platform from which our ascension becomes possible. The dual nature of the pyramid, its firm grounding on Earth and its reach toward the heavens, is perhaps its most important teaching. It perfectly illustrates the principle of as above, so below. The structure bridges the gap between the material and the spiritual, demonstrating that they are not separate realms but two ends of a single continuum of reality. The wide base represents the below, the physical world, the body, the subconscious, the feminine principle of being grounded and receptive. Without a strong, stable base, the entire structure would collapse. This teaches us that spiritual growth cannot happen in a vacuum. It must be grounded in the realities of our human life. We cannot achieve enlightenment by rejecting our bodies, our emotions, or our earthly responsibilities. These things are not obstacles to our spiritual path. They are the very substance of it. The base of the pyramid is where we do the foundational work. It is where we face our shadows, heal our traumas, and learn the lessons of compassion, patience, and humility. Trying to leap to the apex without building a solid foundation is a form of spiritual bypassing. It leads to an ungrounded, disconnected state that is fragile and ultimately unsustainable. A true master is one who has built their pyramid with care, ensuring that every stone in the foundation is solid and secure. The apex, on the other hand, represents the above. The spiritual summit, the higher self, the connection to universal consciousness, the masculine principle of striving and reaching. It is the single point of focus, the ultimate destination. It symbolizes our innate desire to transcend, to evolve, to remember our divine origins. The apex pulls us upward, calling us to a higher purpose and a grander vision. It is the North Star of our spiritual journey, the unwavering point of light that guides us through the darkness and confusion of the lower levels. It reminds us that no matter how entrenched in material life we may feel, a part of us is already at the summit, already one with the cosmos. The structure as a whole, then, is a symbol of integration. It is the sacred marriage of heaven and earth within our own being. We are called to be both human and divine, to have our feet planted firmly on the ground, while our consciousness reaches for the stars. The energy flows both ways, from the earth up, as we consciously ascend, and from the heavens down, as divine inspiration and grace flow into us. The pyramid is a model for a balanced, embodied spirituality. It teaches us that the way to reach the heavens is not by escaping the earth but by building a sacred structure right here, one conscious choice at a time. Ultimately, the triangle is more than just a symbol of structure or ascension. It is an active gateway, It's a geometric portal through which consciousness can move between dimensions. Think of its shape as a funnel or a lens. When the triangle points upward, it channels energy from the broad, diffuse plane of the material world and focuses it into a single, concentrated beam directed toward the higher realms. It is a lens for focusing our intention, our awareness, and our life force in the direction of spiritual awakening. It gathers our scattered energies and gives them a singular, powerful purpose: to go up, to evolve, to connect. Conversely, an inverted triangle, one pointing downward, acts as a receiver. It opens up to receive energy and information flowing down from the higher spiritual dimensions and grounds it into the earthly plane. It is a funnel that brings divine inspiration, insight, and grace into our conscious awareness and physical body. This is the energy of intuition, of revelation, of receiving guidance from our higher self or from the universe. When these two triangles interlock, as seen in the Star of David or the Merkaba, they represent the perfect balance of this energy exchange, the simultaneous upward flow of human aspiration and the downward flow of divine grace, a complete circuit of consciousness. The eye placed within the triangle signifies the ultimate purpose of this gateway. It is for awareness to pass through. It represents the observer, the witness, stepping through the portal of the self, the trinity of body, mind, and spirit, to experience reality from a new perspective. It is a symbol of initiation. To engage with this symbol consciously is to signal your readiness to walk through that gate. It is an affirmation that you are prepared to move from a limited, ego-based consciousness to an expanded, soul-based consciousness. You are choosing to look at the world through the gateway, not just at it. This is why the symbol holds such power. It is not just a static image, it is a dynamic, energetic tool. It is a key that unlocks a door within your own psyche. Meditating on it can help to align your own energetic trinity of body, mind, and spirit, creating a stable gateway within you. It prepares your inner structure to both send your intention upward to the divine and to receive wisdom downward from it. The triangle, therefore, is not a prison for the eye. It is its throne, its focus, and its doorway. It is the sacred framework that makes the journey of awakening possible, stable, and complete. As we move from the broad principles of sacred geometry into the more secretive corridors of human history, we find the eye in the triangle taking on a specific and powerful identity. Within esoteric traditions like Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, and other initiatory schools, the symbol is often referred to as the Eye of Providence. The word providence itself is key. It does not mean surveillance in the way we think of it today. It means benevolent, divine guidance. It is the foresight and care that a universal intelligence provides for its creation. This is not the eye of a cosmic policeman, but the gentle, all-knowing gaze of a divine source, ensuring that the universe unfolds according to a sacred and orderly plan. In these esoteric contexts, the eye represents a fundamental truth about the nature of reality, that the universe is not a random, chaotic accident. It is a cosmos, an ordered and intelligent system, guided by an unseen consciousness. The Eye of Providence symbolizes this all-pervading awareness, the intelligence that is present in every particle of existence, from the spin of a galaxy to the beating of a human heart. It is a reminder to the initiate that they are living within a grand, divine architecture. Their task is not to fear this overarching awareness, but to learn to align themselves with its harmonious flow, to become a conscious participant in the cosmic order rather than a random element fighting against it. The symbol was meant to inspire awe, not dread. It was a focal point for meditation, a visual tool to help the student comprehend the vastness and perfection of the universal mind. By contemplating the eye, the initiate was encouraged to look for the evidence of this divine order in their own life and in the world around them. It was a call to see beyond the apparent chaos of daily events and to perceive the hidden hand of providence at work. This perspective fosters a sense of trust, purpose, and profound connection to the universe. It shifts the individual from feeling like a lost and lonely being to feeling like an integral and cared-for part of a magnificent living tapestry of existence. This understanding is far removed from the modern, fearful interpretations. The original Masonic and esoteric meaning was never about a group of humans watching over the population. It was about all of humanity being held within the benevolent gaze of the divine. The triangle reinforces this, symbolizing a stable, balanced reality, and the eye within it is the consciousness that makes that stability possible. It is a symbol of ultimate reality, the source of all light and truth, which radiates its wisdom and guidance impartially upon all who are willing to see it. It is a symbol of reassurance that, despite appearances, a divine plan is always unfolding. At the very heart of traditions like Freemasonry is a central, unifying concept known as the Great Architect of the Universe. This is a crucial idea to grasp in order to decode the eye of providence correctly. The Great Architect is not a specific god from any single religion. It is not a bearded old man sitting on a cloud. Rather, it is a deliberately non-denominational and universal term used to represent the supreme creative intelligence that designed, built, and sustains the cosmos. It is a metaphor for the universal laws, the sacred geometry, and the divine consciousness that underpins all of existence. By using this term, these schools could bring together people from different faiths, focusing on the shared belief in a higher order without getting lost in religious dogma. The eye within the triangle, therefore, is the symbolic eye of this great architect. It represents the consciousness of the Creator looking upon its creation. But this is not the gaze of an absent landlord checking in from a distance. It is the awareness that is immanent within creation itself. The great architect is not separate from the universe. The universe is a manifestation of its mind. The eye symbolizes the truth that this divine consciousness is the very fabric of reality, the witness to every event, the intelligence that guides every process. It is the geometric precision that places the planets in their orbits and the life force that animates every living cell. For the initiate, the goal is to become a better builder in their own right. Masonic teachings are filled with the symbolism of stonemasonry, the square, the compass, the level, the plumb rule. These are not just literal tools. They are metaphors for building a better self and a better society. The initiate is seen as a rough ashlar, an uncut stone that must be perfected through moral and spiritual discipline. The ultimate model for this work is the great architect. By studying the harmony and order of the universe, the initiate learns how to bring that same harmony and order into their own life, to build their character into a temple worthy of the divine spirit. The eye of providence in this light serves as a constant reminder of the blueprint. It is the perfect design to which the apprentice builder is always aspiring. It asks the question, are your actions aligned with the harmony of the grand design? Are you building your life with the same precision, wisdom, and love as the great architect built the universe? It is a call to self-reflection, integrity, and personal responsibility. It is about becoming a co-creator with the divine, a conscious agent of order and light in a world that often seems lost in chaos. The symbol is a source of inspiration, a standard of perfection to strive for in the great work of building the self. So, if the eye in the triangle holds such a profound and empowering spiritual meaning, how did it become the poster child for global conspiracy and sinister control? The answer lies in a process of inversion, where the original meaning is deliberately or unconsciously twisted to serve an opposite purpose. Over time, as these esoteric symbols leaked from the secret confines of initiatory schools into the public domain, their subtle, nuanced meanings were lost. They were stripped of their spiritual context and viewed through a lens of suspicion and fear. A society built on external authority naturally projects that model onto everything it sees. The very secrecy of groups like the Freemasons, which was originally intended to protect their philosophical work from a hostile and uncomprehending outside world, became the primary fuel for these dark interpretations. What was hidden was assumed to be nefarious. The symbol of the all-seeing eye, once understood as the benevolent gaze of a divine architect, was reinterpreted as the watchful eye of a secret human elite. The symbol was no longer seen as representing a universal spiritual principle, but as the trademark of a shadowy cabal manipulating world events from behind the scenes. Its power was inverted from a tool of spiritual liberation to a weapon of psychological oppression. This misunderstanding was amplified exponentially in the modern era of mass media and the internet. Conspiracy theories, which offer simple answers to complex problems, are incredibly seductive. They provide a clear enemy and a narrative that makes sense of a confusing world. The eye in the triangle became a perfect, ready-made logo for this narrative. Its appearance on the US dollar bill sealed its fate in the popular imagination, forever linking it to the intertwined powers of money and government. The symbol's true history was buried under layers of sensationalism and paranoia, its light replaced by a manufactured shadow. The tragedy of this inversion is that it robs humanity of a powerful tool for awakening. By teaching people to fear the eye, the narrative of control achieves the very thing it purports to expose. It keeps people in a state of low-frequency consciousness. Fear, suspicion, and feelings of powerlessness disconnect us from our own inner wisdom and spiritual authority. The story of a controlling elite using the symbol becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because the elite are actually using it to control us, but because our fear of the symbol gives away our power. The inversion cleverly turns a key of awakening into a lock for our own minds. Here we arrive at the most crucial shift in perception, the turn that reclaims the symbol's power from the shadow of conspiracy and returns it to you. The truth is this: the eye is not about them watching you. It is about you watching yourself. It is not a monitor connected to some central surveillance hub. It is a mirror, reflecting your own rising awareness, your own capacity to see. When you encounter this symbol, especially in moments of synchronicity or deep contemplation, it is not a warning that you are being observed by an external force. It is an invitation from the universe to turn your gaze inward and become the observer of your own experience. The symbol is a direct question, a cosmic prompt. It asks, are you awake? Are you watching? Can you see beyond the illusions of your own mind, the stories, the judgments, the fears? It challenges you to find the part of you that is the silent watcher, the calm center that exists behind the storm of your thoughts and emotions. This is the eye behind the eye, the true self that is never born and never dies. Every time the symbol appears in your life, it is a reminder to access this state of pure awareness, to step back from the drama and simply witness. It is a call to practice self-observation without judgment. This is the secret that was taught in the esoteric schools. The initiate was guided to understand that the eye of providence was not something to be worshipped as an external deity, but something to be activated within their own consciousness. The path of illumination was the path of developing this inner witness. By learning to observe their thoughts, they ceased to be controlled by them. By learning to observe their emotions, they ceased to be swept away by them. They were learning to become the calm, all-seeing eye in the center of their own being, bringing order and harmony to their inner world. So when you see the eye on a dollar bill, or in a piece of art, or in a dream, try this experiment. Instead of feeling a pang of fear or suspicion, feel a jolt of remembrance. Let it be a trigger that reminds you to take a deep breath and become present. Ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling? Who is it that is aware of these thoughts and feelings? In that moment, you have taken the symbol back. You have used it not as a source of fear, but as a catalyst for mindfulness. You have transformed it from a monitor into a mirror for your own awakening soul. The journey of the initiate in the ancient mystery schools was always a journey from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, from fear to illumination. The symbols used along this path, including the eye and the triangle, were not just decorative emblems, they were carefully designed tools for psychological and spiritual transformation. The initiate was not simply given the correct meaning of a symbol. Instead, they were guided through a process of contemplation and experience that allowed them to discover the meaning for themselves within their own being. This is the difference between information and true wisdom. The path would often begin by confronting the popular profane understanding of a symbol, its most fearful or superficial interpretation. This represents the darkness, the state of the unawakened mind. The initiate might first be exposed to the idea of the eye as a symbol of judgment or an unblinking watcher, tapping into their own innate fears of being seen and found wanting. This is a necessary first step to confront the shadow. You cannot move beyond fear until you have first acknowledged its presence within you. The school would allow the initiate to sit with this discomfort, to explore its roots in their own psyche. Then, through teachings, ritual, and meditation, the guide would begin to introduce the deeper, esoteric layers of meaning. They would explain the concept of the great architect, the principles of sacred geometry, and the idea of the eye as a mirror for the self. The initiate was taught not to blindly accept these new ideas, but to observe, reflect, and integrate them. The symbol was thus transformed from an external object of fear into an internal map for awakening. It became a gateway, a portal through which the initiate could access higher states of their own consciousness. The eye ceased to be a threat and became a promise. This is the path you are invited to walk now. As the great writer Robertson Davies said, the eye sees only what the mind is prepared to comprehend. By learning the deeper history and meaning of this symbol, you are preparing your mind to comprehend a more profound reality. You are retracing the steps of the initiate, moving from the modern illusion of fear to the ancient truth of illumination. The eye, then, becomes a symbol of your own journey. It marks the moment you choose to stop being afraid of being watched and start embracing the power of your own sight. It is the graduation from being an object in someone else's reality to being the observer of your own. Having explored the triangle as a structure of being and a map for ascension, we must now deepen our understanding of it as a dynamic symbol of energy in motion. The orientation of the triangle is not arbitrary. It is a fundamental key to its esoteric meaning. When the triangle points upwards with its stable base on the ground and its single apex reaching for the sky, it symbolizes a specific and powerful energetic current. This is the energy of ascension, the primal force that drives consciousness to rise, to evolve, and to move beyond earthly limitations toward higher states of spiritual awareness. It is the very essence of the human quest for meaning, the innate pull towards the divine that has inspired mystics, saints, and seekers for millennia. This upward-pointing triangle is universally associated with the divine masculine principle. This is not about gender in the biological sense, but about a fundamental polarity of energy that exists within all things, including every human being, regardless of sex. The masculine energy is active, assertive, focused, and projective. It is the force of willpower, the spark of creation, and the drive to manifest ideas into the physical world. It is the energy that builds civilizations, climbs mountains, and explores the unknown reaches of the cosmos. When you set a goal, make a decisive choice, or take action to change your circumstances, you are harnessing the power symbolized by the upward triangle. It is the engine of forward movement and transformation. In the classical system of elements, this upward triangle is the symbol for fire. Fire is the element of transformation, passion, and purification. It is an energy that is never still. It flickers, it dances, it consumes, and it illuminates. Fire burns away the old, the dense, and the stagnant, clearing the way for new growth and new possibilities to emerge. Its light cuts through darkness, bringing clarity and truth. The connection to fire reflects the burning passion that fuels our spiritual journey, the inner spark of life that propels us to seek more than just material survival. It is the sacred fire in the heart that yearns for union with the great cosmic flame from which it came. Symbolically, the upward triangle represents the yang energy of the Taoist tradition, the radiant power of the sun, and the illuminated state of the conscious mind pushing upward toward enlightenment. It is the path of the yogi who uses discipline and will to master the body and mind. It is the path of the hero who embarks on a quest to achieve a great deed. It is a declaration of intent to the universe, a statement that says, I am moving up. I am reaching for a higher state of being. I am an active participant in my own evolution. It is the foundational energy of doing, becoming, and transcending. Now let us invert the triangle. When it points downwards, with its apex aimed at the earth and its broad base open to the heavens, the flow of energy is completely reversed. This orientation symbolizes a current that moves inward and downward, drawing you away from the outer world and into the profound depths of your own being. It is the energy of introspection, of grounding, and of surrender. Where the upward triangle seeks to climb, the downward triangle seeks to deepen. It invites you to explore the vast, unseen landscapes of the subconscious mind, the wisdom of the body, and the sacred mysteries of the soul. It is not a journey of doing, but a journey of being. This downward-pointing triangle is the embodiment of the divine feminine principle. Again, this is a universal energy, not a gender-specific trait. Feminine energy is receptive, nurturing, intuitive, and fluid. It is the power of stillness, the wisdom of waiting, and the strength found in surrender. It governs the inner world of emotions, dreams, and the unconscious mind. When you listen to your intuition, when you allow yourself to feel your emotions fully without judgment, or when you receive a sudden flash of insight from a source beyond your rational mind, you are channeling the energy of the downward triangle. It is the sacred space within which all creation is gestated before it can be born into the world. The element associated with the downward triangle is water. Water is fluid, adaptive, cleansing, and reflective. It does not force its way through obstacles. It flows around them, adapting its shape to its container. It holds the power to cleanse and heal, washing away impurities and restoring life. Water also reflects whatever is above it, symbolizing the ability of the subconscious and the emotional body to reflect the truths of the higher spiritual realms. The downward triangle's link to water represents this gentle, yielding yet incredibly powerful force of emotional intelligence and intuitive knowing. It is the deep well of wisdom from which we draw our deepest truths. Symbolically, the downward triangle aligns with the yin energy, the subtle light of the moon, the creative darkness of the womb, and the mysterious, unseen depths of the soul. It is the path of the mystic, who finds God in silence and stillness. It is the path of the oracle who opens themselves to receive visions from the divine. It is a declaration of trust to the universe, a statement that says, I am open, I am ready to receive, I surrender to a wisdom greater than my own. It is the foundational energy of feeling, receiving, and gestating. Spiritual wholeness is not achieved by choosing one of these energies over the other. A life of pure action without intuition becomes sterile and soulless. A life of pure reception without action becomes stagnant and powerless. The true path to enlightenment, the secret encoded in so many esoteric traditions, lies in the sacred marriage of these two opposing forces. It is the dynamic interplay and perfect balance of the upward-striving masculine energy and the downward-receiving feminine energy within a single unified consciousness. This is the ultimate goal of the great work, to become a being who can both act with focused will and receive with open wisdom. This union of opposites is the key to unlocking your full potential. It is about learning to be a warrior and a mystic, a king and a poet, a builder and a dreamer. It means cultivating the ability to think with sharp, logical clarity, while also trusting the subtle, non-linear guidance of your intuition. It means having the strength and drive to pursue your goals in the world, while also having the wisdom and humility to surrender to the flow of life when necessary. This balance creates a state of profound stability and power, a centeredness that is both unshakable and flexible, like a great tree with roots deep in the earth and branches reaching high into the sky. This integration resolves the inner conflict that plagues so many people. The war between the head and the heart, between logic and emotion, comes to an end. They cease to be enemies vying for control and become partners in a sacred dance. Your intellect is honored as a valuable tool for navigating the material world, while your intuition is honored as your direct line to divine intelligence. You learn when to push forward and when to be still, when to speak your truth and when to listen. This inner harmony is the true meaning of peace. It is not the absence of problems in the outer world, but the absence of war in your inner world. The eye in the triangle can now be seen in an even deeper light. The triangle itself represents the perfect framework for this union. It is the stable container in which these two powerful opposing energies can meet, merge, and be harmonized. The eye that awakens within this balanced structure is a unified sight. It is the third eye, the eye of wisdom, which sees with both the clarity of the sun and the depth of the moon. It is the consciousness that has transcended duality, that sees the world not in terms of either or, but in terms of both, and it is the vision of the complete and integrated soul. The ultimate symbol of this sacred union is found when the upward-pointing and downward-pointing triangles are brought together, interlocked in perfect symmetry. This creates the six-pointed star, known in various traditions as the Star of David, the Seal of Solomon, or, in its three-dimensional energetic form, the Merkaba. This powerful symbol is a visual representation of the principle of as above, so below. It is the perfect marriage of heaven and earth, spirit and matter, masculine and feminine, fire and water. It is a geometric blueprint for a fully awakened and integrated field of consciousness, a vehicle of light for the soul. The upward triangle represents the human being reaching up toward God or the divine. It is our aspiration, our prayer, our conscious effort to connect with our spiritual source. The downward triangle represents the divine reaching down to humanity. It is the flow of grace, inspiration, and wisdom from the higher realms into our earthly existence. When they interlock, they form a complete and unbroken circuit of energy. It is a two-way communication channel, a stargate through which energy and consciousness can flow freely between the spiritual and material dimensions. It symbolizes a state of being where you are simultaneously grounded on earth and connected to the cosmos. The word Merkaba itself is an ancient Hebrew term often translated as chariot. It is composed of three parts: Mer, meaning light, Ka, meaning spirit, and Ba, meaning body. Thus, the Merkaba is a spirit-body light vehicle, an energetic field of counter-rotating light that surrounds the body, and can be activated through meditation, breathwork, and conscious intention. It is believed to be the vehicle that allows the soul to travel between dimensions, to access higher states of awareness, and to experience reality beyond the limitations of the physical body. Activating the Merkaba is synonymous with achieving the sacred balance of the masculine and feminine energies within. While the eye is not always explicitly drawn inside the Merkaba, the symbolism is implicit. The consciousness that can activate and stabilize this field of light is, by definition, the all-seeing eye, the unified consciousness of the awakened self. The Merkaba is the throne, the chariot for the observer who has mastered the integration of dualities. It represents the state where your personal energy field is so balanced and harmonized that it becomes a radiant star, a source of light and wisdom. It is the ultimate expression of the triangle's energetic potential, the blueprint for becoming a living bridge between heaven and earth. This ancient wisdom of the triangles is not merely a philosophical concept to be admired, it is a practical guide for your own spiritual journey. The goal is to consciously recognize and cultivate both the masculine and feminine energies within you, bringing them into a state of dynamic, harmonious balance. This is an active process that requires self-awareness, honesty, and consistent practice. It begins by observing your own tendencies. Are you more inclined to act, which is the masculine, or to receive, which is the feminine? Do you rely more on logic or on intuition? Do you spend more time pushing for control or surrendering to the flow? There is no right or wrong answer. The key is simply to notice your natural predisposition. Once you have this awareness, you can begin to consciously cultivate the less dominant energy. If you are someone who is always doing, always busy, always in your head, practice creating moments of stillness and receptivity. Meditate, spend time in nature without a goal, or simply sit and listen to your own inner world. Practice asking for guidance, and then waiting patiently for the answer. Conversely, if you are someone who is more passive, dreamy, and hesitant to act, practice taking small, decisive steps toward your goals. Create plans, set deadlines, and use your will to bring an idea into tangible form. The aim is not to erase your natural strengths but to complement them, creating a more versatile and whole being. Visualize the two triangles within your own body. See the downward pointing triangle with its base at your shoulders, funneling divine energy down into your heart and solar plexus, its tip pointing to the earth, grounding you. This is your connection to yin, to water, to receiving. Then, see the upward pointing triangle with its base at your hips, drawing stable earth energy up into your core, its tip at your third eye, focusing your will. This is your connection to yang, to fire, to acting. See these two triangles interlocked within your torso, centered around your heart, creating a radiant six-pointed star of balanced energy. Breathing into this space can help to harmonize and activate this inner sacred geometry. Ultimately, this balance is the key that unlocks the door to higher consciousness. It is the alchemical formula that turns the lead of a fragmented self into the gold of an integrated soul. When the fire of your will is tempered by the water of your intuition, you become a master of your own reality. You can navigate the world with both power and grace, with both clarity and compassion. The eye that sees from this place of balance is the eye of wisdom, the eye that is not just in the triangle, but has become the living embodiment of its harmonized energies. This is the true meaning of awakening, not to escape the world, but to bring heaven down to earth within the temple of your own being. As we bring the symbolism of the eye home, from the cosmos and ancient history into the very center of your own being, we arrive at its most intimate and powerful correspondence. In the mystical traditions of the East, particularly in the yogic sciences, the all-seeing eye is not just a metaphor, it is a tangible energetic center within you. It is known as the Ajna chakra, more famously called the third eye. This is not a physical eye made of flesh and blood, but a vortex of subtle energy located in the center of your forehead, just between your eyebrows. It is the sixth of the 7 primary chakras, and it is considered the command center of your entire energetic system. It is the seat of intuition, the throne of higher perception. The Ajna chakra is the focal point where the 2 primary energetic channels of the body, the Ida and the Pingala, converge. These channels are said to run along the spine, carrying the lunar, feminine energy, Ida, and the solar, masculine energy, Pingala. Their meeting point at the third eye represents the perfect union of the dualities we have explored: the moon and the sun, intuition and action, the eye of Horus and the eye of Ra. When these two energies are brought into balance and harmony, their combined force flows upward and activates the Ajna chakra. This activation is the birth of true spiritual sight. It is the awakening of the inner eye that can perceive realities beyond the grasp of your ordinary senses. This chakra is the bridge between your human mind and the universal mind. It is the gateway through which higher consciousness can flow into your awareness. When your third eye is dormant or blocked, you tend to see the world from a purely logical, materialistic, and ego-driven perspective. You may feel disconnected from your intuition, struggle with a lack of imagination, and find it difficult to see the bigger picture of your life. You are living in a world perceived only by your two physical eyes. But when the Ajna chakra begins to awaken, a whole new dimension of perception opens up to you. You begin to see with your soul. Awakening this center is a core goal of nearly every mystical path on the planet. It is the key to unlocking your innate psychic abilities, your capacity for profound insight, and your direct personal connection to the divine. The eye in the triangle is the perfect Western esoteric symbol for this Eastern spiritual reality. The triangle represents the stable, harmonized energy of the lower self, body, mind, and spirit, creating the necessary foundation. And the eye that opens within it is the Ajna chakra, the blossoming of your higher awareness, the all-seeing vision that comes when you have finally unified the forces within you. It is the moment you stop looking for answers outside yourself and begin to see them from within. This mystical third eye is not just a poetic concept or a subtle energy center. Many ancient traditions and modern researchers believe it has a direct physical counterpart deep within the brain, the pineal gland. This tiny, pine-cone-shaped endocrine gland is located in the geometric center of your head, a place of unique safety and importance. For centuries, philosophers and mystics have referred to it as the seat of the soul. The French philosopher René Descartes famously described it as the principal seat of the soul, and the place in which all our thoughts are formed, believing it was the point of connection between the physical body and the immaterial spirit. On a biological level, the pineal gland's primary function is to produce melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycles. It responds directly to light. When your eyes perceive darkness, the pineal gland is stimulated to release melatonin, preparing your body for sleep in the world of dreams. This connection to light and darkness is deeply symbolic. Just as it governs our entry into the subconscious realm of dreams, mystics believe it also governs our entry into the superconscious realms of spiritual vision. It is the biological gateway that can be tuned to perceive not just physical light, but the subtle light of higher dimensions. The symbolism of the pine cone, which perfectly mirrors the shape of the gland, appears in sacred art all over the world. You can see it on the staff of the Egyptian god Osiris, atop the wand of the Greek god Dionysus, and even in the center of Vatican Square in a giant sculpture. Ancient cultures clearly knew of this gland's importance. They recognized it as the body's innate antenna for spiritual frequencies, the biological third eye. The eye of Horus, with its distinct shape, is even considered by some to be a stylized anatomical drawing of the midbrain, with the pineal gland at its core. The ancients were embedding a secret manual for awakening in their most sacred art. Therefore, practices aimed at awakening the third eye, such as meditation, chanting, and specific dietary choices, are also believed to decalcify and activate the pineal gland. Over time, due to environmental toxins and poor diet, this gland can become calcified, hindering its function. The spiritual path in this sense is also a biological one. It is the process of purifying your physical vessel so that this sacred organ can function as it was intended, as your personal portal to the cosmos. Activating your Ajna chakra is not just an energetic event, it is the reawakening of a dormant piece of divine technology that lies sleeping within your own brain. The awakening of the Ajna chakra fundamentally transforms your perception of reality. You begin to operate beyond the limited data provided by your 5 physical senses. Sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell are wonderful tools for navigating the material world, but they can only perceive a tiny fraction of the full spectrum of reality. They are like a radio tuned to a single station, completely unaware of the thousands of other frequencies filling the airwaves. The activated third eye is like upgrading that radio, allowing you to tune into these other frequencies, the subtle energies, spiritual truths, and multi-dimensional realities that are constantly surrounding you and flowing through you. This expanded perception is often called extrasensory perception, or ESP. This includes abilities that sound extraordinary but are, in fact, the natural birthright of every human soul. Clairvoyance, the ability to see things not present to the physical eyes, is one of the primary faculties of the third eye. This can manifest as seeing visions, auras, or energetic patterns. Telepathy, the ability to perceive the thoughts or feelings of others, is another. It is a direct heart-to-heart or mind-to-mind communication that bypasses spoken language. And most commonly, it manifests as a profound and unshakable intuitive knowing, a deep sense of truth that arises from within, without any external evidence or logical reasoning. When this inner eye opens, the veil between the physical and non-physical worlds begins to thin. You may start receiving messages or guidance from your higher self, from spirit guides, or from the collective consciousness. These messages can come in many forms, during meditation, in vivid dreams, or through powerful synchronicities in your daily life. You begin to understand that you are not alone, and that you are part of a vast, intelligent, and communicative universe. You are no longer just a passive observer of a dead, material world. You are an active participant in a living, conscious cosmos. This higher sight gives you a new level of clarity about your own life. You start to see the underlying purpose behind events, the lessons hidden in your challenges, and the energetic patterns that shape your relationships and experiences. The confusion and randomness of life begin to dissolve, replaced by a sense of order and meaning. You are seeing your life not from the ground level of the ego, but from the elevated perspective of the soul. The eye in the triangle is a constant reminder of this potential, to see with the eye of spirit and to perceive the divine architecture that underpins all of reality. When the third eye begins to awaken, it often communicates not in words but in a universal language of light, color, and geometry. Many people who deepen their meditation practice report similar initial experiences. As the mind quiets and the focus turns inward, they may begin to see a swirling mist of color, most commonly a deep indigo or violet purple. This is the characteristic color of the Ajna chakra. Seeing this color is a sign that you are successfully shifting your consciousness to the frequency of the sixth chakra. It is the first knock on the door of inner perception, a signal that the gateway is beginning to open. From this field of color, other phenomena may emerge. Flashes of brilliant white light are common, often appearing like a camera flash or a distant star exploding in the darkness of your closed eyes. These flashes represent moments of energetic connection, a sudden influx of spiritual energy or information from a higher source. You might also begin to see geometric patterns like mandalas, intricate lattices of light, or spinning triangles and stars. This is sacred geometry, the fundamental building blocks of the universe, revealing themselves to your inner sight. You are witnessing the blueprint of creation, the divine architecture in its purest form. Sometimes, a distinct eye will form in the center of your vision. It might look like the eye of Horus, a simple human eye, or the abstract eye in the triangle itself. This is your own consciousness reflecting its awakening state back to you. It is a profound moment of self-recognition. Seeing this eye is a confirmation that you are successfully activating the observer within, the part of you that can see beyond form. The symbol is no longer something you look at externally, it has become a living reality within your own field of awareness. It is a milestone on the journey of inner vision. It is important to approach these experiences with gentle curiosity, not with forceful striving. If you try too hard to grasp or analyze these visions, they will often vanish. This is because the third eye operates on the frequency of the receptive, feminine principle. It opens when you are relaxed, trusting, and allowing, not when you are demanding and controlling. The language of light is subtle. It must be felt and received, not dissected by the logical mind. These inner visions are invitations to go deeper, to trust the process, and to allow the universe to speak to you in its native tongue. The ultimate function of the awakened third eye is to allow you to realize the truth of your own nature as the observer or the witness. In many mystical teachings, our ordinary waking reality is described as a form of dream, a maya, or illusion. It's a magnificent, complex, and convincing dream, but a dream nonetheless. It is a projection of consciousness, a play of light and shadow on the screen of awareness. The great challenge of human life is that we become so identified with our character in the dream, our ego, our body, our story, that we forget we are the dreamer. We become lost in the play, believing it to be the only reality. The awakened third eye is what allows you to wake up within the dream. It doesn't necessarily end the dream, but it allows you to see it for what it is. You become the lucid dreamer, You're still in the world playing your part, but you now have an expanded awareness that knows it is not the ultimate reality. This is the role of the observer, the silent, unchanging part of you that watches your thoughts, your emotions, and your life experiences unfold without being entangled in them. This observer is symbolized by the eye, and the dream of reality is symbolized by the triangle of body, mind, and spirit that contains the experience. The eye, the observer, enters the illusion of the material world not to be trapped by it, but to bring the light of consciousness into it. It's really the act of shining awareness into the dark, unconscious corners of your own mind and the collective human experience. By simply witnessing your fears without identifying with them, you dissolve their power. By observing your conditioned patterns without judgment, you create the space to choose a new response. This is the essence of spiritual freedom. It's not about changing the world outside of you, but about changing your relationship to it by realizing who you truly are. This is the ultimate secret of the eye and the triangle. It is a map for this very process. It is a reminder that you are the pure, formless awareness, the I, that has entered the threefold structure of human experience, the triangle, to have an adventure. Your mission is not to get lost in the adventure, but to remain awake to your true identity as the eternal witness. When you see this symbol, let it be a call to remember. Remember that you are the dreamer, not just the dream. You are the seer, not just what is seen. You are the silent, peaceful observer behind the eye. As your consciousness begins to shift and your third eye stirs from its slumber, the universe itself starts to speak to you in a new language. It is a language not of words but of meaningful coincidence, of perfectly timed alignments that seem too improbable to be random. The psychologist Carl Jung gave this phenomenon a name: synchronicity. These are not mere chance encounters. They are the subtle winks and nudges from a living, intelligent cosmos designed to capture your attention and confirm that you are on the right path. And one of the most common and powerful synchronicities reported by individuals on the awakening path is the repeated, seemingly random appearance of the eye in the triangle. You might see it on the back of a truck that passes you at the exact moment you are pondering your life's purpose. It might appear in the architecture of a building you have walked past 100 times but never truly noticed before. You could be scrolling through social media and a piece of art featuring the symbol stops you in your tracks, or it could be in a documentary, a book, or a logo on a product. The locations are mundane, but the timing is magical. Each appearance feels like a punctuation mark in your reality, a signpost placed on your journey by an unseen hand. It is the universe whispering directly to you, "Pay attention, something important is happening." These are not coincidences. They are echoes of an internal shift manifesting in your external reality, the principle of as within. So without means that as your inner world begins to vibrate at a higher frequency, your outer world must rearrange itself to reflect that new vibration. You are not suddenly seeing the symbol more often because it is appearing more frequently in the world. You are seeing it more often because you are now tuned to its frequency. You have lifted your head and are finally noticing the signs that have been there all along, waiting patiently for you to be ready to see them. Each sighting is a confirmation that your awareness is expanding. This is a crucial phase of the awakening journey. It is the universe building a bridge of trust with you. It is showing you that you are not alone in this process, that you are being guided and supported. The eye acts as a recurring character in the story of your life, showing up to remind you of the bigger picture, to pull you out of moments of doubt, and to encourage you to keep going deeper. When you begin to recognize these synchronicities, you start to live in a more magical world, a world where everything is connected and everything has meaning. You are learning the language of the cosmos, and the eye is one of its most important words. While synchronicities are messages from the outer world, the most direct and powerful communications often come from your inner world. As the filters of your conscious, rational mind relax during sleep or deep meditation, your soul has a chance to speak to you in its native language of symbols. It is in these altered states of consciousness that the eye in the triangle often makes its most profound appearances. It may surface in a dream, not as a background detail, but as the central, most vivid element. You might find yourself in a temple where the eye gazes down from the ceiling, or it might appear floating in the sky, or a wise figure might present it to you as a gift. When the eye appears in a dream, it is a potent message from your deep subconscious or your higher self. It is a direct call to awakening. It is your own inner wisdom holding up a mirror, showing you the part of you that is all-seeing and eternal. The context of the dream provides clues to its specific message for you. Is the eye peaceful or unsettling? Is it bringing light to a dark place? Is it watching over you protectively? These visions are not random firings of neurons. They are curated experiences designed to help you integrate a new level of awareness. They are a form of soul retrieval, reminding you of a truth you have forgotten. The symbol also appears frequently as an internal vision during meditation. As we've explored, when you move into deeper states of consciousness, like the Focus 12 state described by the Monroe Institute, your inner screen comes alive. You may see the purple hues and white light that signal a shift in frequency, and then, suddenly, the eye may materialize. Its appearance in these states is an invitation. It is a gateway presented to you, a portal to an even deeper level of knowing. It is your higher self saying, "You are ready now, come look through here, see reality from this perspective." It is a key being offered to unlock the next door in your consciousness. These visions are a sign that you are successfully bypassing the static of the ego and tuning into a clearer channel. They are a trigger, an anchor that pulls your awareness further inward and upward. The symbol is acting as a catalyst for your own remembrance. It is activating dormant parts of your consciousness, prompting you to question the nature of reality and to remember your own divine connection. When you see the eye in these states, the correct response is not to analyze but to receive. Breathe it in, allow its energy to permeate your being. It is a direct transmission of knowledge and energy, a sacred gift from your soul to yourself. Why this symbol? Why does the eye in the triangle hold such universal power and appear so consistently to so many different people across time and culture? The answer may be far deeper and more ancient than we can imagine. One compelling esoteric theory is the concept of DNA memory. This is the idea that our genetic code carries more than just the biological blueprints for our physical bodies. It is a crystalline library, a living record that stores the memories, wisdom, and spiritual knowledge of our ancestors and our entire soul lineage. The I, in this context, is not something we are learning. It is something we are remembering from a time before time. Think of the symbol as a spiritual GPS, a piece of cosmic software pre-installed in your human operating system. For generations, this software has lain dormant, waiting for the right conditions, the right frequency to be activated. The spiritual awakening you are experiencing is the activation sequence. The symbol emerges from the depths of your being because it is part of your inherent spiritual anatomy. It is an archetypal key that unlocks ancient knowledge encoded within your very cells. It connects you to the unbroken chain of wisdom from a long line of seekers, Egyptian priests, Gnostic mystics, temple builders, and esoteric initiates who all worked with this same sacred energy. This remembering is a fundamental part of the awakening process. It explains why certain symbols, sounds, or places can feel so deeply familiar, evoking a sense of nostalgia for a time or place you have never consciously experienced. This is your soul's history, bubbling to the surface. The eye in the triangle is one of the master keys to this library. Its appearance signals that you are beginning to access these deeper layers of your own being, reclaiming dormant gifts, and reconnecting with your cosmic heritage. You are not just one person on a journey. You are the culmination of 1,000 journeys, and their collective wisdom is now becoming available to you. This perspective transforms the meaning of the symbol entirely. It is not an external sign being imposed upon you. It is an internal truth rising up from within you. It is a reflection of your own ancient divine blueprint. The eye is a beacon that was planted in the human subconscious at the dawn of consciousness, designed to light up when a soul was ready to evolve to the next level of the game. Its appearance is a profound confirmation that you are not just remembering a symbol, you are remembering yourself. You are waking up to the vast, timeless identity that has been sleeping in your DNA all along. Ultimately, the repeated appearance of the eye, whether through synchronicity, dreams, or meditation, can be understood as the language of your higher self. Your higher self is the wisest, most loving, and most complete aspect of your own consciousness. It exists beyond the limitations of time, space, and ego. It holds the full blueprint for your life's purpose and your soul's evolution. However, it cannot speak to your conscious mind in plain English, as this would violate the principle of free will and circumvent the learning process. Instead, it communicates through the subtle symbolic language of energy and intuition. Sometimes when you are in a deep meditative state and you try to focus too hard on a vision, or you try to force an answer with your logical mind, you might suddenly click out or lose the connection. This is not a failure. This is often a gentle, loving course correction from your higher self. It is redirecting you, reminding you that some truths are not meant to be intellectually dissected, but must be felt and experienced. It is teaching you to trust the process and to allow information to unfold naturally, in a way that you can integrate safely and gracefully. Your higher self is a master teacher, and its primary lesson is surrender. The eye symbol is one of its favorite tools. It is a compact, high-density packet of information and energy. In a single image, it can convey messages of protection, guidance, awakening, and remembrance. It acts as a gentle but persistent reminder to stay present, to trust your path, and to look beyond the veil of illusion. It is your higher self's way of checking in, of saying, "I am here. You are on track. Keep going." It is a beacon of light from your own soul, illuminating the path back home to yourself. Recognizing these signs, the synchronicities, the visions, the intuitive hits, is how you learn to have a conscious conversation with your own divine nature. You begin to see your life not as a series of random events, but as a co-creation between your human self and your higher self. The eye in the triangle is a bridge between these two aspects of your being. It is both a guide and a guardian, showing you that you are on the right path, even when the journey feels confusing or uncertain. It is the ultimate proof that you are seen, you are known, and you are loved by the most important watcher of all, the eternal, awakened you. We have traveled a long and winding path, from the sun-drenched temples of Egypt to the sacred geometry of the cosmos, and into the very center of your own consciousness. We have seen how a symbol, ancient and profound, was misappropriated, its meaning inverted from a beacon of awakening into a sigil of fear. The eye in the triangle, a universal representation of divine sight and inner harmony, was co-opted by structures of power. Governments, corporations, and financial systems. They placed it on their money and their seals, not to activate its true power within the many, but to manipulate the perception of the masses, creating an illusion of their own omnipresence and authority. This act of inversion was a masterstroke of psychological control. By taking a symbol of inner sovereignty and turning it into a mark of external surveillance, they obscured its true purpose. When you are unconscious of its deeper meaning, the symbol works against you. It becomes a tool for energy harvesting, where your fear and attention are directed outward, feeding a system that thrives on your perceived powerlessness. The lie is that the symbol itself is evil. The truth is that symbols are neutral vessels of power. They become dark only when they are used to hide truth rather than reveal it. They become instruments of control only when we forget that they are mirrors for our own potential. But today, right now, that cycle breaks. The power of this symbol was never truly theirs to own. It is a universal key, an archetypal code embedded deep within the collective human soul, and it belongs to you. Its power does not diminish with misuse, it simply waits patiently to be reclaimed. The moment you become conscious of its true, sacred meaning, you sever the energetic cord of manipulation. You take the key back. The symbol transforms instantly from a weapon used against you into a tool wielded by you. It ceases to be a reminder of their power and becomes a catalyst for your own. This reclamation is not just an intellectual exercise, it is an act of spiritual sovereignty. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow your perception to be dictated by fear-based narratives. You choose to see beyond the veil of control and to engage with the symbol on its original, sacred terms. The eye was never meant to be feared. It was never about Big Brother watching you. It was always and will always be about your higher self, watching for you, guiding you, and reminding you of the incredible power of sight that lies sleeping within. This is the first step to consciously reclaim the key. Now that you hold the key, you must learn how to use it. The eye in the triangle is not just something to be understood, it is something to be experienced. It is a portal to be activated. This is not about worshiping an external image. It is about using that image as a focal point to awaken the corresponding energy within your own being. The following is not just a visualization. It is an energetic activation ritual, a way to have a direct, personal conversation with your own eternal essence. It is a practice you can return to again and again, each time going deeper into the heart of its mystery and power. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes and take a few deep, calming breaths. Allow your awareness to drift gently upward to a point just a few inches above the crown of your head. In this space, visualize the eye in the triangle hovering, radiant and serene. See it glowing with a soft, benevolent light, perhaps a brilliant gold or a deep mystical indigo. Feel its presence. This is not a foreign entity watching you. It is the part of you that is already whole, already awake, already free. It is the part of you that never forgets who you truly are. Let it pulse there gently, a silent cosmic heartbeat. From the center of this radiant eye, visualize a single pure stream of light flowing down in a perfect straight line. See it entering the top of your head, moving through the center of your brain, and descending into your heart space. Feel this light as a tangible warmth, a frequency of peace and absolute clarity. This is the energy of remembrance. It is your own divine blueprint, your higher self, gently realigning your conscious mind with its own profound wisdom. As this light fills your heart, let it dissolve any fear, any confusion, any sense of separation. You are simply receiving a transmission from your own soul. Now, with this connection established, whisper a question inwardly from your heart. Do not ask what your ego wants to know. Ask what your soul is ready to reveal. A simple, powerful invocation is, "What am I ready to see?" Then, be still. Let go of all expectation. You may receive an image, a feeling, a memory, a single word, or simply a profound sense of knowing and peace. Trust whatever comes. You are not asking an outside force for answers. You are accessing the wisdom that already exists within you. This is the sacred dialogue, the ultimate meditation. You are not just looking at the eye, you are looking through it. Awakening is not a one-time event, it is the cultivation of a new way of being, a new level of awareness in your daily life. To keep the portal of the eye open, you must begin to build a conscious relationship with it. Treat it not as a static object but as a living symbol, an energetic companion on your journey. Symbols are alive with meaning, and like any relationship, they respond to the attention and intention you give them. The more you consciously engage with the eye, the more it will reveal its secrets to you, acting as a constant mirror for your own evolving consciousness and inner state. Begin by noticing. Start to pay active attention to where the symbol shows up in your life. When you see it on money, in art, or in a film, do not let it pass by unconsciously. Take a moment, acknowledge it, see it as a wink from the universe, a synchronistic nod from your higher self. The more you look for it with this new awareness, the more you will see it. Not because it is multiplying, but because your eyes are finally open to its frequency. Ask yourself in those moments, what was I just thinking about? What is the message here? You are training yourself to read the symbolic language of your own reality. Then, actively engage with it. Try drawing the symbol yourself. You don't need to be an artist. The simple physical act of creating the triangle and then the eye imprints its energy into your being. Feel what comes up as you draw. Does it feel powerful, peaceful, mysterious? You can also print out an image of it and place it on your desk, your mirror, or your altar. Spend a few moments with it each day, not analyzing it but simply being with it. Breathe with it. Let its balanced, focused energy permeate your field. Over time, it will begin to feel like a silent teacher, a presence of clarity in your space. Finally, set your intention. Words are wands. They cast spells that shape your reality. Create a simple, powerful declaration that you can use whenever you see the symbol or during your meditations. Say it aloud or in your mind. I choose to see clearly. I choose to awaken. I am the witness. This is not a plea. It is a command to your own soul. You are aligning your conscious will with the will of your higher self. You are declaring that you are ready to step out of the illusion and into your role as the one who sees. You are building a living, breathing relationship with the key to your own sight. Remember this fundamental truth: you are not learning something new, you are remembering something ancient. The knowledge of the eye, the wisdom of the triangle, the power of the witness. This is all part of your innate spiritual heritage. It is encoded in your DNA, waiting in the library of your soul for the moment you decided to check it out. That moment is now. This entire journey has not been about adding a new belief to your mind, but about activating a timeless truth that has always existed within you. The symbol is not powerful because it was used by secret societies. It has lasted for thousands of years because it was designed to awaken all of humanity. The eye in the triangle is not theirs. It is not the property of an elite, a government, or a cabal. It is a universal key, and it has been returned to your hand. Its appearance in your life is a profound sign that you are ready to see beyond the veil of fear, ready to harmonize the sacred trinity of your body, mind, and spirit, ready to claim your power as the conscious observer of your own life. Every time you see it from now on, let it be a joyful confirmation of your own progress, a milestone on your path of remembrance. It is a symbol of your graduation. Let this knowledge settle deep within you. The fear has been dissolved by understanding. The manipulation has been nullified by consciousness. The stolen key has been reclaimed. You now hold a powerful tool for your continued evolution, a focal point for your meditations, and a faithful companion on your path. Use it to connect with your higher self. Use it to activate your inner vision. Use it to remind yourself in moments of doubt that you are the eternal, all-seeing consciousness that is having this beautiful, temporary human experience. You are the one who sees. Thank you for tuning into Nova Frequency. If this journey has activated something deep within you, if you have felt the stirrings of a great remembrance, let us know in the comments below. This is a collective awakening, and our shared experiences create a powerful field of light for others to find their way. Subscribe, and let us continue to decode the great mysteries together, one symbol, one truth at a time. The world is changing because you are changing, your frequency is rising, and now you see,